just let me start the recording there, and then I'll just be a minute or so while I'm looking for stuff to talk about.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Now I'm not sure. I think that like we actually see your perspective like just as you see it in game. I know sometimes it gets a little bit weird. Sometimes like we're in replays it won't show you the exact perspective you had. But if you angle your shield down further,
Pretty sure I
you'll
was looking down, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's why I was going, like, I'm not sure whether or not, like, that was just weird angling from the replay or not, but, here, it's just, like, we're kind of, like, looking straight forwards, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe we just look down, but
Stop the payload.
Yeah,
maybe
I'm
we
pretty
were.
sure I am, because if you now look, when it see how my crosshair like insta went down. So anyway, I don't know, maybe there's a replay weird.
Don't worry, my friend. I have your shield. I need healing.
Okay, there if we wanted, we could probably have charged in after the Reinhardt, though I think we left it up just for our team to get him, I believe. Like, there we could have charged in after him, but though, I mean, saying that just watch mid is also fine. Though we are kind of backing off here. Alright. Yeah, nothing major's happened so far. They are just saying maybe like we kind of backed off for no reason when we had health and most of our shield up. So, it was just kind of a random time where we just probably should have been pushing forwards because we got a pick, right? But we were instead kind of backing out.
My power.
Heroes never die.
Alright.
I still need you.
So right now we're just playing the choke. That's good. Like the fire shakes off cooldown, that's good as well. I'd probably say the biggest thing so far is just shield spam. Is that like we just really haven't done anything but shield so far. That's just been the entire gameplay so far for the last minute and 20 seconds. It's just been shielding and that's it. So I would probably recommend to be swinging much more often. This is going to be getting us ult charge much more. Notice how we are.
I think I felt like I hadn't really had a close enough distance really.
Okay, well then a lot of times you can close that distance to people. So right, like here for example, we can just go up here and just like swing on the Reinhardt and then back up when we feel like we're pressured. Like we don't have to necessarily like just wait the entire time. Now I forget what number we're number 6. All right, so like we just kind of sitting and chilling, and then Zarya walks in here in a moment. Like now this is within a very perfect range to be swinging. Yeah, we're still kind of just shielding. Now we swing in, and then this is the first time we're swinging and stuff, right? It's just a lot, very little, and then like as a result, you notice how like just coming into this fight, how we're behind like pretty much every single person in the game. There's only like 2 people who are behind us, so that means that out in this game, we probably have like 7 other people who are higher in ult charge than we are, including the enemy Reinhardt, just because he's done more. So, ult charge, damage, kills, right? Just us swinging and doing things is going to give us more carrying potential and impact on the game. Whereas so far we just haven't had any of that. So let's get back forwards to where we were. We were swinging. Okay, there while he's sleeping, probably could have gone for a charge. Right here we do have a charge available. Right, charges up and he gets slept. Perfect opportunity to just charge him into a wall real quick. This would do a big chunk of damage and allow us to kill him extra fast. Whereas, a charge does 300 damage. A swing does, I believe, 80 damage. I can't remember what they nerfed the number at some point there. So it's somewhere around that, right? Maybe 75 or so. That means that overall your charge is just going to do much more damage and it's also going to be burst damage instead of you just slowly swinging. So go for the charge on him while he's sleeping like that, right? Rather than just swinging on him. And very nice. Okay. Okay, that could be maybe a situation where we're shielding their Mercy's like 1 HP, and we see that there's a Zarya and Hanzo shooting at her. Maybe we could swing shield just for a moment while she starts to heal up. Is an option there, right? That's just timing in which we could be shielding. Besides that, we get grabbed and okay. All right, so there we kind of weren't necessarily shielding the right things, right? Like we ended up putting up shield. We get grabbed and we put up shield late while we're grabbed. While we're running at the Hanzo, we're not shield hopping, right? We're not, and we've gone over just to confirm, right? Last time we went over Reinhardt. No, last time we went over Mora, and then
Yeah, this would be our first look at Reinhardt, but I
okay.
actually have watched some of your other coaching
Yep.
videos of people you've coached.
So you're
Reinhardt.
so are you familiar with shield hopping then?
Yeah.
So shield hopping essentially is just what's going to do is it's going to mean that we can move towards somebody at a fastish pace while also negating damage and saving shield health. So here we can be shield hopping at the Hanzo if we're trying to run at him, so we're not just eating an entire storm arrow to the face, right? Whereas that's what we're doing here. We also react to the grab slightly slowly. Notice how like the grab hits, and then we're just a second and a half before we put up a shield, right? And then in that time, our Mercy dies, and then we're also shielding off the Zarya, and then Hanzo just comes up behind us and shoots us. Whereas let's just angle our shield like more sort of like this, and then now if we see that Hanzo's about to shoot, we can swing it to the side, right? Maybe like because he has to charge up his arrows, so maybe we can just catch his arrows when he's firing them, right? Sort of deal. But instead we're just only looking at the Zarya, so it's just like some inefficiencies with the shield. Nothing I don't think major as of yet though. Problem here is that we're trying to stay alive. Probably don't want to be that just staggers us further. There's no value in us staying alive here. We see that this is a clearly lost fight, right? We're like 1 HP, no teammates alive. Yep.
I do remember you saying that before. It just doesn't say. It just like instinct to stay alive as long as you can. Kind of fun to let yourself die.
Exactly right. It's just let yourself die. That way we're not staggering because we come out of spawn and we see how our entire team's ahead of us, right? These guys are all up there, Genji's up there, and then in that time they're up there fighting a fight while we're not there participating. Oh, just barely missed that. Oh, just watch the charge, right? Make sure we're paying attention to this charge, right? And then on top of that, even outside of that, one man Shatter and Reinhardt isn't like a super high value ultimate, right? Like it gets us 1 kill here, but that doesn't guarantee a fight win. So a lot of times you're gonna want to shoot for more than just one.
Yeah, I'd say
Shatter.
I normally do. I mean, I remember thinking the second. It's one of those things where it's like you're talking like about like a split second, aren't you? Decision making. Yeah. Anyway.
Which. The way that you get better with those, right? The way that you get better with split-second decision-making is kind of mainly 2 different ways, right? First off, you get better with split-second decision-making off of practice, right? You practice at it, and then as you practice, it becomes easier and easier to do that. But then secondly, the other thing is to kind of plan ahead of time and actively think through some of these scenarios. So like if we have in our head the fact that we probably should almost never be going for solo shatters, then if we see one person, it shouldn't really be our first instinct to be going for a solo shatter, right? So it's a little bit of both. It's practicing at it, but then also just like having the head knowledge of remembering that like probably not a shatter to be going for. And obviously we also just got pinned out of it, so just watching for the pin. Let's like rewatch this for a second. All right. Okay, so currently we are up a person. Probably go for a pin. Yep. Oh, missing those pins. Just want to make sure we're curving a little bit better there. Like that should be a pretty easy pin. Like just here we see we're charging at him. Right. We see kind of just line up our crosshair with him, right? I mean, or our body or whatever. Right here we see that we're kind of not gonna hit him directly, and he just bounces off. So we just want to line up.
I'm normally not that terrible with pinning people. Actually, I kind of
Let's see, did he get our whole team with that? Who did he get with the Shatter? I got 1 Ana. Okay. So we're on their back line while we're kind of trading back lines here. All right, so problems. So first off, we're running very, very much past our team here. So we're just out of line of sight of healing. Notice how, like, they're all semi-grouped up, right? Their supports can heal the Ryan, right? We got them, but our team can't really see us or support us where we're at currently. And then on top of that, we also end up swapping between a bunch of targets here. So like we're on Moira, and then we swap over to the Mercy, and then we swap back to and then we swap to Hanzo, and then we come back here. So if any of those swings had been like done on one person, they'd be dead by now. So just make sure focusing on one person. So at the moment, we're looking at like for the first 3 minutes of this gameplay, has been a lot of micro mistakes. It's just a lot of here and there, tiny little things all over the place. If that makes sense, right? We haven't seen any big major mistakes that we've made so far. I'd probably say the biggest mistake we've seen so far is maybe like this, where we just overextended by a lot and we just went in really far, and then that got us killed. So I'd probably say that's the biggest mistake we've made so far in this game, but it's been a lot of it here, like tiny little things. Make sure we're not going super far into them. Yeah, and then fire strikes like that I like that we're using them off a cooldown, but we've also been whiffing them like as well, right? It's just like these micro mistakes we keep making. Like here, we go for the fire strike and they just flick it randomly to the side, right? Make sure we're just aiming straight at people. We don't want to just like all of a sudden go for random flicks when we're going for our fire strike. We're aiming straight at him and then we flick off of him to go for the fire strike. So just to show you that again here, right? Just so you can see the flick. We'll slow it down a little bit, right? We're aiming straight at him, and then we just all of a sudden go to the right, right? Want to just keep looking straight at him. No reason to go for random flicks when you're already looking at people. There's only specific instances where flicks are needed.
Inaccuracy.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we've just been whiffing. I'd probably say so far we've seen a lot of ability usage things because we've been whiffing charges, whiffing fire strikes. Shield management has been a little bit whack, right? Or maybe like shielding too much, right? Fire striking. Oh, whoops! I mean, fire striking the cart there, right? And then here, let's rewatch this slightly, right? So our team, just paying attention to what our team's up to. So at the moment, I'd probably say the best idea, like if they're taking space and we're trying to give up space, right? We're down a person, they're using coalescence, they're at the advantage currently. Instead of going off to the right here, which means that we have to walk through open area, open space, no cover anywhere, and isn't really the best place to be holding over here. Usually you're going to find the best place to be holding more so like over here on this corner, rather than going over to that other side. So here, just backing up to the corner would probably be a good idea, rather than just crossing over, which is what we do. And then notice how this splits us up from our team. We're down another person, so currently we're down 2 people, right? It's a 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 6. And then I guess maybe we're just trying to stop point if we think that's lost at this point. Okay, well, it's lost at this point, so we just let them kill us, right? Okay, well, we got back to our team. That was actually a pretty nice play. So it worked. That worked out. I mean, like, even if we're gonna die there, that's good because we just respawn, and then that just got the monkey kill, and then got us back to our team. So that's really well played. Good charge as well. Okay, they don't have any shields. Perfect shatter. Perfect opportunity for shatter right here. Right, we turn the corner. Currently no shields at all.
I think I thought that the cart was going to get in the way and stop me shattering as many of them.
You can go under cart and over cart. It depends on the cart. But this one, it would just go underneath the cart.
Oh, damn.
But then in certain
I did not know that.
And then as well, in certain instances, it would go over the cart as well. So people on top of the cart would get hit by it. I don't, because it goes, shatter travels up surfaces by, I believe, like 2 meters. So I think.
Yeah, I do remember reading that actually once, but.
I think this front side would be too high, I believe, but this back side, for example, let's say there's somebody like on the very top. If you shatter from behind here, I believe it would travel up the first one and then up the second one, maybe. So. Either way, you'd be able to hit the people here, almost guaranteed, like from behind it. So yes, you can shatter underneath it.
Okay, cool. I'll bear that in mind.
Heroes never die.
Alright. And even right about now. Okay, so now we're using. Okay, so now this is where I would be like, we talked about just using it previously, but now this is where I'd be hesitant to use my ultimate, mainly for the reason that we're using a ton of other ults. Like, we just used Nano Blade, we just used Valk, right? That's a pretty, like, right there alone, that's a big ult combo along with another ult. At this point, Shatter may not be necessary. A lot of the times, 4 ults aren't necessary to win a fight, especially if they're not using any ults of their own. Like, it's right now. This is 4 ults versus 0 ults, right? 3 ults versus 0 ults is pretty much is a significant advantage. So you notice here that Shatter didn't really have any very much impact because Zarya's already like 1 HP there by the time we came in. Like, we got one person who's 1 HP, right? Did that really have an impact on the fight when we used 3 other ultimates? So we probably could have used it earlier in the fight, but because we held on to it, we used it probably, I would say, in a poor instance. Because now notice how we over-ulted that fight, so now we're coming into this next fight with 1.5, and maybe McCree will have his, so like 1, and then maybe in a second, and then on the enemy team they'll have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, right? So now they'll be coming to this next fight with the advantage, right? And then they'll be able to win that fight off of it. So in this next fight, let's see, we'll just take a look and see, do they win it because they just press Q?
Or Y.
What do you say? Oh, right. Oh, yep, you're right.
Xbox.
Yep.
I had a quick look at the controls earlier on PC just to make sure I
had them all correct.
How they, how they mapped kind of thing by default.
Unfortunate. It's just awareness to know that we never killed the McCree. Really not else. And then the other thing is that we are in pretty terrible positioning here. So we have not talked about a lot. We've talked about tanks before. We've talked about, let's see, I'm just going up. We talked about Orisa Diva. We talked about No Man's Lands at all.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I always try to kind of play the corners and stay the walls and stuff now. But
yeah, usually you want to play around cart, be it for 2 different reasons. First off, you can use it as cover, because you can you can hold on the other side here, and then you can use it as cover. And then the second thing is that you don't want them to back cap you, right? Usually most of the time, once cart gets this far, you're not gonna push up this far. Now you can push up this far if you're chasing after kills, that's fine. But I'd probably say you guys are way too far forwards right now. You should probably.
Did I lead the team there, or did I follow the team there? I forget.
Let's see. I was not paying attention to that either. So let's see. We it looks like we get some kills. We're maybe chasing after some stuff.
Yeah. See, I kind of followed the team. I thought, because the Roadhog went up there.
Yeah. Okay. So I see that.
I don't really like leaving the cart exposed either, in case someone goes on a big flank and touches it without.
Yeah. So you did that pretty well, right? If your team's all going up there, then that's probably a good decision. I just didn't notice that part. Yeah, and then we got High Noon from behind. Oh, didn't touch cart there. Just gotta be a little bit closer, right?
Yep. I actually wished at the time when I realized I hadn't got the touch, I wish I'd pinned onto it or charged, I should say.
Yeah. Let's also notice, like, while we're touching, like, yeah, I think that's touchable. I mean, it really depends on the situation.
With the charge, I think it would have been.
No, I'm saying, like, I'm just trying to check, like, do we have enough team support, right, to do it? Like, because if we don't have anybody, then we probably wouldn't want to go for it. Because then we can just regroup for the next fight if we don't have people with us. I think, like, we have 3 people. I would honestly probably say you would probably find more value out of just grouping up and backing up, because at the moment, like, we've talked about kill feed before, right? We talked about how to know whether or not you've won or lost a fight. Here it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're coming in with 1, 2, 3, right? Hog's lagging behind, Mercy and your Genji aren't there. So at the very, like, even if we counted Hog here, that's a 4v6 that we're walking into, right? Is that worth it when we could come into the next fight at a neutral advantage, right? Whereas here we're coming in at the disadvantage.
I suppose my train of thought is always like, if you can sometimes get a touch and hold them up for a few seconds, and then your team gets back to you, and you take a few more seconds off the clock, or like a little while off the clock, because obviously, what do they get, like 2 minutes or something when they touch the checkpoint?
Yeah, but keep in mind as well that us going in here and dying immediately means that they don't. So like on each point here, right? On this point, on every single payload map, you have to fight 2 fights, right? Or they have to win 2 fights on attack, right? The first fight happens around one of these corners, and the second fight happens around the end here. If they kill us right now, and we have to respawn, and we're forced to respawn, it becomes more like 1 fight. They don't need to fight 2 fights. They only need to fight 1 fight. So essentially what we're doing here by going in and dying and staggering is we're making it so that now they only need to win 1 fight rather than 2 fights. And it's not really it's not worth it for the time that we're buying. Now if you basically I would say don't go for the touch unless you can win it, right? Because otherwise it's not worth giving them the ult charge, it's not worth giving them the snowball, it's not worth giving up the positioning that you could be taking and regrouping. In most instances, the exception would be if you have control of the point. So let's say, for example, on like a control point, right, like on control map, you're coming back from spawn and you still have control of the point, right? Then you can just stagger on and keep going, because the longer you're staggering onto it, the more percentage you're getting while they're not getting anything, right?
Yeah,
so that's different than this. Here, this would be as if they have control of the point. They have control of the point here, yet we're staggering in. Our goal isn't to just shave off a little bit of a time. Our goal is to stop them here, right? So that's just what the best decision to be made here would be. And then we can track to see, like, here, let's see, we die, and then how many fights is it now? Because, then our team staggers, and then because our team staggers, we'll see do we get 1 fight or 2 fights? Maybe we'll still get 2 fights. It depends on how early we go. Now we stagger again. Right now we're down more people.
Come out and face me.
Probably should not be going in at the moment. Just really engaging just a couple seconds too early. They're not very far behind you. You need to give them like 5 seconds max, right? But we also saw that our McCree's down, and we don't know that the Mercy's resing him. So at the moment, in our heads, we are down 3 people, right? Or like we should know that we are down 3 people if we're paying attention to kill feed. This is a part of awareness, and we've talked about kill feed watching before. It's 1 to 2 is an advantage or disadvantage. 2 to 3 is a won or lost fight. Here we are walking into this fight. If we're engaging now, we're walking in when it's a 6v3, which is a lost fight already. So walk in when you have your team. Don't walk in when we don't. Right? Because then we were walking in without healing, and it took us forever to get healing. Right. Let him sleep there. We woke him up, right? Let him sleep.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they're gonna win off of 1 fight. So you see, this is, if we lose this fight and look at where Cart's at, this is now 1 single fight that they have to win.
This is weird. I was grabbed on the other side of the wall. I didn't even know that was really a thing.
Yep, you can get grabbed on through walls. So it only taking 1 fight for them to win here is a direct result of us trying to touch on the last point. So again, that was one of the bigger mistakes we've made. Okay, with charge, with fire strike, right? Just counting those up and how often they are. Nice swinging. All right, so we did hold it, right? That's good. Oh, we just saw someone going high ground, but it seems as though we're ignoring him.
My ultimate is ready.
You saw someone going high ground.
Yeah, I mean we looked at him, right? Look, we look over to our left. We see him up there, right? and then we just.
What can I do about someone on high ground though? Fire strike, I guess, is about it. But
well, I mean, we can go contest him, right? Like where would, if McCree's up there, where would McCree be running away to? He's either hiding or he's trying to run away, right? If he were to hide, then he's just gonna stay there. If he's gonna run away, where is he gonna run away to?
I guess back to his team to the right hand side down there.
Which would mean that we can just go and meet him there, right? We can just come up to the right, wrap around, take the high ground. If he's hiding, then we just charge in, after him. We just go and kill him, right? We can also hear him in a moment. It's not just the visual awareness, but it's also audio awareness. I don't know can you hear it well enough?
Sorry? I can kind of hear it. I suppose I don't really know whether that's my role or not to go hunting a McCree.
Definitely is your role. 100% is your role. You see how far away these guys are? The next fight's not going to be happening for another like 20 seconds, right?
Okay.
So you have plenty of time to go and do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be probably say any character's role besides a support who can't do it. Like I wouldn't say it's Mercy's job to go do that. But I mean, Lucio, any other
I suppose
character.
I was thinking I'd leave it to my DPS, but
No,
anyway.
tanks can 100% go and do that. Yep, tanks or DPS.
Okay, cool.
In fact, tanks are probably better for the job. Tanks would be better for the job than DPS because DPS are easier for. It's easier for the McCree to outplay one of your DPS and get the kill and then get out than it is for them to out. Like, how is McCree gonna outplay the Reinhardt, right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm taking care of you.
I think some of the stuff is it's like it is like a wholly conceptual stuff about like understanding your role in the team and that.
Yep.
Don't worry, my friend. I am your shield.
All right. Yeah, so they're taking a high ground here. If we think so, now that we know that their goal is to take high ground, then the next fight we might want to set up there, right? Like I wouldn't say that you necessarily have to start up there, because you're on a Reinhardt character. You're on Reinhardt, and setting up on high ground is not going to do much for you. But now that you know that they're trying to go to high ground, you now want to in the next fight stop them from going to high ground because that's going to get you value by denying them value. Does that make sense? Yep. So, no fault on you here for not doing it, but if you're not doing it in the next fight, then there's a problem. Right. We landed a fire strike. We did it. We're down 2 people is an issue. Probably looking for a shatter at the moment. Maybe could get like this is hard because we wouldn't be able to really capitalize on these guys. Yeah. Once they took high ground, that's an issue. So one thing. Trying to think here. So actually, you know what? I would change my mind here, on what I was saying. Probably start off on high ground. I'm just taking what I said back. Probably a good idea to start off on high ground because you're not really losing anything if they don't go high ground. Like if they come down, if you see them. Yeah, you can just drop down super easily. Like if you rotate up here to in between fights, right? You give your team high ground, control, which Ana will benefit from, McCree will benefit from, Mercy, Doomfist, like pretty much every character besides you and then maybe Hog will benefit from this high ground. On top of that, you deny them the usage of high ground. You can see very easily which direction they're going through the windows here, and then you can just drop to the corner if they're going to point, right? And then your team can stay up on high ground. So I would change my mind because that's really, I would probably say the only thing that could have won you this fight is that better positioning, and denying them that high ground usage. So just keep in mind, rotate to the best positioning possible in between fights, right? Just so you can utilize it and deny them from taking it, especially when they have such easy access to high grounds. Now, it's slightly a different story, maybe like over here on this high ground over here, as like let's say you're holding on to this bridge. They don't have easy access to high ground. Over here, they have the stairs are pretty much on their side of the map. Over here, there's only 2 stairs. There's these stairs all the way over here, and then there's these stairs all the way over here, and then on top of that, you also will have a lot of DPS up on the high grounds already. So in any case, I don't think it's nearly as important over here to do it because the stairs are much further out, like secluded and out of the way. And if they are going for the stairs, you might be able to just know that they do. You'll see, okay, well, no one's here. There's a long pause. People spot them on the left. We can just rotate up to high grounds, like kind of right after they do. But here, probably say it's more important to do so to go up to high ground. Okay, very nice. We bursted them down here, so actually we probably shatter these 2. Never mind, they're 1 HP. We're good. We got them. That was a good nano. Nice fire strike. Okay, right now, probably say just same thing as last time. Right now, it's a okay, so currently is that Ana alive? No, she's not. Okay, so currently we have 3 people. Yeah, I'd probably just group up. Yeah, you're right. Good decision.
Trying to work out if I can hit him with a hammer from there.
There, I would probably in this situation, right? We're waiting for our team, right? That's correct. That's that we can both say that that's something we're probably trying to do and we want to be doing. So that means that we probably shouldn't just be sitting here letting them spam us for free. So we should probably be backing up. And then what is a way in which we can be both grouping up, backing up, and attacking these guys all at the same time?
Maybe like jump shielding and trying to fire strike up top.
No.
No?
Okay. So the way the thought that I'm
you
trying to go.
Me and I always get the answer wrong.
Yeah. The thought that I'm trying to go for here is, what if we took this time to rotate around to the high ground?
Right.
So this would both back us up. This would group us up.
I suppose I don't like the idea of. I mean, again, this is probably just. I'm not saying for a second my thinking isn't flawed. I don't like the idea of abandoning the cart when there's 3 people who can drop onto it.
You have so much time. Doesn't matter. Like if you see that if they're gonna drop the cart, if in fact that would probably be a great bait if you did, right? If these guys drop the cart, that's so easy for you to just rush at them, right? Yep, exactly. There's here. If all 3 of them got on it, you'd probably have like 10 seconds of warning before they actually cap the point, right? You have plenty of time to get over to it. You have teammates who are about to come back who can get over to it. I don't think that you have to be insanely worried over the cart because you do have tons of time. Now, if the cart was right here, that's a different story because then you have like 3 seconds and that might not be enough. But here we 100% do have enough time to make that rotation.
I bet it worked as well as in baiting them down with this
yep, and then
SR people at this rank.
Alright, I want to say use your next shatter, and then after that one, I might, and then we'll go over quick strengths to weaknesses. Yeah, again, I think we're not.
I've known that thing about shattering and
yeah.
Really wish I'd known that.
Yep, I think we're looking for it
every time.
Yeah. Charge her right before she wakes up, right? You can get some swings on her, that's good. But Good.
It's funny. I mean, like, you know, I watched this. I watched tips and stuff on YouTube occasionally, and someone was saying like you don't always need to pin straight away after a shatter. Cause most people just shatter and then pin. But sometimes you get more value out of swinging your hammer and fire striking.
Let me explain that because it's more so that I agree with that at the same time. So it's complicated. You don't want to charge right away most of the time. Now it depends on the situation. The reason why you would not want to charge most of the time after you shatter is typically when you shatter multiple people. If you shatter, let's say we shatter 3 people and they're all standing right next to Zarya. If we charge, we're getting 1 single kill out of it, and in the process booping everyone around them and basically saving their lives. So essentially our shatter gets boiled down from 3 people shattered and possible kills to 1 kill. Now if we swing on top of that shatter, and then that means that we can be hitting 3 people at the same time, get multiple kills, while also allowing our teammates to shoot them from behind. Now the story changes in certain instances. So first off, let's say that we shattered everyone, but let's say they're all littered around the very edge of it and we're super far away from them. Well, now we're not going to be able to reach them to swing on them, so charging becomes a lot more acceptable because we're using the charge to reach them, right?
Right.
Now again, you can also charge at the very end of your shatter because right before she wakes up, it doesn't matter if you're booping people around because they're going to be waking up anyways, right? So you charging at the very end can help burst down, like for example, a tank, right? Like this Zarya, and then also don't really need to worry at all about waking people up not waking them up, but booping them all around if there's 1 person. So here this charge would be definitely something you want to do in this instance, just because it's 1 Zarya and it's at the very end, right before she wakes up. So you swing on her once. Right, let's rewind that a little bit. So we shatter, right? We swing once, twice, then we charge, right? So once, twice, and then right as she's jumping up there, then we charge her while she's still immobile, right?
Okay, makes sense.
All right, so let's talk about strengths and weaknesses. So ability usage, we've seen a lot of inconsistency with. So charges, we've like hit them half the time, whiffed them half the time, missed some opportunities like right now where we could have used it. Fire Strikes hit them half the time, whiff them half the time, though I do like they were using them off a cooldown, and with Charge, I do like they were using it to get back from spawn fast. Shield management, that one's probably another one that needs a lot of work. So that one, like, we've had times where we just kind of sat around shielding, like at the very beginning of the game, when we probably should have just been swinging on stuff. We've had times where we should have been shielding, a little bit better, or where we should have been shielding when we weren't shielding, or maybe we could have reacted faster with the shield, or we weren't shielding the right thing. We've had times with our shield. Let's see, what were some other things with shield? I think that's about it. It's just in a lot of inconsistencies across all of them. So overall, shield usage is probably or not shield usage, ability usage is looking around like a medium priority for you to work on it. Shatter usage, first off, cart thing, right? That's definitely going to help with it. But then also we've just missed out on some opportunities where we could have gone for bigger shatters. Where, specifically in this instance, like, just the cart, knowing that we can go into the cart will probably could have gotten us like a 3 or 4K shatter there. On top of that, like, so far we've hit 2 shatters, and we've gotten like 1 person each. So the first one got canceled. Second time we got 1 person. And actually, no, never mind. I think we used it 3 times, and the third time so every single shatter we've used so far has gotten 1 single person in it. So shatters, not looking too great, and then we also held on to them for some fights as well, making sure we're just not holding on to ults but using them, right? Like, up against their current team composition, right? If we're looking at their current team comp, they have nothing to block it, so we can just get away with free shatters all day, right? The only thing we have to worry about is Monkey Bubble and Zarya Bubbles, which are very easy to dodge out, right? Or to just wait out. And then on top of that, we also shattered in that one fight when probably shouldn't have, right, when we used a ton of other ults. So overall, again, probably Shatter's coming in around like a medium priority. I think that those two are kind of evenish. Now, Reinhardt doesn't have mechanics, so we can't really talk about, that's not really a category in Reinhardt. And then awareness, kind of like slash aggression. Let's see. That one, I definitely think that we're lacking on awareness of the fight. And when it comes to awareness, we have fight awareness of paying attention to what's happening. Kill feed. We have fight awareness. We have awareness of our health bar and our shield health, where we got passive when we had full health and shields. And we've gone in multiple times without teammates and when they weren't with us, and then that was pretty important. These things are all looking like they're just clumping up in the middle, because it's nothing's really terrible and nothing's really great, and therefore it's all just kind of ending up in the middle, which isn't necessarily that big of a deal. It just means that you're not going to know what one needs to be worked on first is really the only thing there. So I will do my best by the end of the session to try to just kind of sort them out a little bit better, to try to make sure that we can find which one for you to work on first. But then, even if we can't and they're all just clumped up all in the middle really close together, then we can just pick out any of them and whichever one you want to work on first, and then that works as well, right? Now that just overall, just awareness as well, just looks like a medium, not terrible, not great, just kind of in the middle, inconsistent. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Listening for footsteps, watching the McCreeves on the high ground. Then finally positioning, repositioning to the high ground, controlling the high ground, taking away from them. Making sure, let's see. Besides that, honestly, positioning's been looking. Probably say that's the only
Certainly better
positioning
than
thing.
it was before I started getting coached by you, because I don't think I really understood
Mm-hmm.
positioning at all until I
Yeah,
started
so
doing
honestly,
reviews.
positioning then is looking like the best so far. We'll put that one at a low to medium. So positioning hasn't had as much on it. So the other ones are definitely higher, positioning's lower. So we've at least separated it a little bit.
Heroes never die. 30 seconds. Let's get you back in the fight.
Okay, right now we're unnecessarily playing passive, so let's do a quick scan, right? We're paying attention to things going on around us, right? Awareness and aggression. Awareness pairs very well with aggression. We know how aggressive we should be based off of paying attention to our environment. Currently, it is a 1-2-3-4 versus 1-2-3 4, and then we're about to 5, right? And then we're about to get a res off, right? So Mercy's rezzing. So currently we're at a player advantage. On top of that, we have health, and if we're just kind of sitting here shielding, then Monkey gets to Tesla us for free. Like we have enough health to where I probably say we could shield now. In a moment here as well, we're going to be rezzing and then re-res. So now we are currently at a 2-person advantage. Pretty significant advantage. We have health, yet we're kind of just backing up and playing passive, right? Notice how we're like 400 health here. Yeah, we're just kind of sitting here shielding. Want to be going in and swinging, right? Shielding, right? We kind of did that until we were like 500 HP. You don't need 500 HP to be swinging, right?
Okay. Good point.
Okay. Push. It's just one person, yep. Just want to finish off the Monkey. Oh, the slow controller console turns.
Yeah, I know. Probably breaks your heart.
Yeah. Alright.
So I thought we were going to win this game, to be honest, having stopped them, and it was quite heartbreaking that we didn't.
So that maybe, like honestly, the defense didn't look too terrible. So maybe we'll see like what the big problem is on attack here. Oh, Hanzo drops. Oh, never mind, he gets back up. Unfortunate.
Don't worry, my friend.
We got completely stuck after we made good progress. We got completely stuck in this middle bit, and I couldn't work out why or what was going on.
Sounds good. So here we go on Lucio. That's good. Nice. We get an early pick. But our team's dying behind us. Uh-oh, we're ignoring the whole fight. Okay, so here we're not being aware of the fact that the fight's happening behind us, right? Here if we're paying attention, like we're just kind of going on a merry way pushing cart when it's not important to push cart right now. It's important that we win the fight, because if we win the fight, then we push it much further than if we just because obviously, you know, we lose this game, and it's much more important to actually win this fight to secure the fight win than to just push cart. So here, turn around, charge back to our team. We go on McCree or the Hog, but instead we're just kind of chilling here, so we don't have an impact on this fight. So that's probably the big thing that we've been doing this fight, is just not doing very much. We're just kind of pushing, and then in that time,
thought that I was gonna get it to the checkpoint on my own at this point, but.
Very easy BAP kill. Note we're not really paying attention to him, so awareness. Right now, we want to be paying attention to our surroundings, not just kind of being off in our own little world. So here, you know, we see BAP chasing us. We can maybe hear his footsteps. Like, we've seen him a couple times here, actually. We see him, like, off the corner of our screen a couple times, and then he's right behind cart. If we had killed Baptiste, we were paying attention to Baptiste, we would have capped this point. Flat up. We would have gotten this if we had just killed him before he touched point. Right? But because we weren't aware of the Baptiste being
and
here,
he's got like fucking half health as well.
Yeah, we could have fire struck him. We could have swung at him twice, and he would be dead. Right? So just the lack of awareness, and then here as well, Baptiste is still half it. Yet we kind of aren't swinging on him. We turn and focus our attention on Reinhardt. Baptiste still could have been a kill that we got there, but
now it's my fault about getting back to my team.
Yeah.
And like resetting the fight over here, but obviously kind of too late.
On top of that, there we have a charge out that we can use instead of just slowly backing out. So here we see, okay, they contest point, right? They contest point. We see Reinhardt's coming back. We're being surrounded by people. Just group up with a team, charge back out, just get back to them, right? Just group up. But we just kind of slowly back out, and this just staggers us further rather than getting us any benefit because we don't have any team support. So
I think that then becomes our problem instantly, is staggering.
Yeah. So now, you know, we there had multiple instances, like, you know, pretty big mistakes there, right? Oh, whiffed fire strike.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, I do think these things when it happens.
Just there, I think the thing to notice is that keep in mind the fire strike does have a cast animation, right? It takes time to throw it, so you press the button and then it throws. Here we are,
you think, I'm like pressing it and thinking it's gone, and then moving my crosshair.
Which is pretty hilarious because I'm fine with this on Reinhardt, but the exact same thing on Apex Legends that I was playing, this exact same thing was bugging the heck out of me with a character's ultimate, and I kept throwing it into walls because I had a delay on it, and I kept getting me. But I can do this perfectly with Reinhardt now. But it's practice at it, right? So we
I did. Actually, I've started kind of like, and again, I'm sure this is a valid technique, but like kind of starting the fire strike behind a wall and then like stepping out because of the delay. So I do know it exists. It's just
yeah, it's just like an instance like this where we're looking at them and then we walk around the corner here, right? So it's just that slight delay that we walked on the corner during that delay.
Enemy in my sights.
Alright, so now we're trying to push through choke. Do we have our whole team here with us? Yes, we do, for the most part. They're just slightly behind us,
slightly behind, yeah.
Maybe just give it like 2 seconds longer to let them walk with us. But for the most part, we're good. Alright, yep, push the Hanzo. Okay, we're kind of like playing a little bit passive here. He's on his own. Push the Hanzo, right? He's just kind of chilling there. If we just sprint at the Hanzo, like shield hop at the Hanzo, that's an easy pick for us at the moment. But we're just kind of chilling in place. Right, and then we fire strike and we back up. Oh, very nice, massive. Unfortunate. Pay attention to where the Reinhardt is. This is part of playing a Reinhardt is when we know that there's an enemy Reinhardt, it is our job to block the shatters. And so far, we haven't been blocking any shatters that he's been going for. So make sure you're keeping tabs on 2 things. First off, where's the Reinhardt at? So he's not just getting a back shatter, because this is our job to block that, because otherwise he just gets off a free 3-man shatter, right? And then this, as a result, it has a big chance of losing you the fight if he off of that shatter, right? So that is our direct impact. If we block that shatter, that we have a good chance of getting this kill in the Reinhardt and then winning the fight, right? On top of that, we also want to track, just pay attention. You don't have to do a full team-wide ult tracking of paying attention to every single character on their team, but just track the enemy Reinhardt's ultimate. This is easy to do off of just, how much did he do versus how much did I do. It's really easy to do it like that. So, like, there Reinhardt was swinging and doing things, whereas we just kind of chilled on cart for the entire last fight, right? And we don't have our ult yet, so it's probably pretty obvious that their Reinhardt has their ult, right? Because he did more than we did. And you can just kind of compare the two. So now he's used Shatter. In the next fight, you'll know, okay, I'll have my ult like 70% ahead of his ult, right? So if we and then you can kind of go off of those, right? So how much did he do? When did he die? If he was dead the entire fight, probably didn't do very much, right? So you just keep track of those. If he's gone like 2 fights without a shatter, probably has one, right? In this instance, we're 2 minutes in, he's done a bunch, probably has one. Therefore, you want to pay attention to him and make sure he's not shattering our entire team, right? And then as a result, they get 2 people, 3 people, right? And then that pulls the fight around. So that was our big mistake of the fight, right? So far, first fight, big mistake was us ignoring the fight and then not killing Baptiste. Second fight, our big mistake that we impacted on losing the fight was letting Reinhardt get a 3-man shatter. Uh-oh, that's not good, Anna. Okay, I've noticed sometimes when we're on top of people that we just kind of swap targets randomly. So first off, why don't we talk about swinging a little bit more? And then secondly, so here there's a Lucio who's like 1 HP right there, right? You swing on him, he's dead. Yeah, we swap our attention to and we see him that he's 1 HP. Yeah, we swap our attention to the Reinhardt. And then we're also shattering when we're 100 HP and we're the only person alive, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So kill feed, awareness, right? Paying attention.
Probably because I was nanoed, I think. It's probably what makes you feel invincible or whatever, even though you're not.
Yep. No, you're not, right? So you just gotta remember we're not invincible there, right? And then, so, couple mistakes there. Okay, right before we go to do the review, then I'll go over the swinging technique I was gonna talk about.
Is it where you turn your camera left and right to hit more people?
Do you, so far from what I've seen, do you maybe have like a lower sensitivity on Reinhardt, especially? A lot of people.
No, I'd have the same sensitivity on every character.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean that's
console. I mean, not many people have like 100% sensitivity.
Yeah.
I think the game defaults you at like 25, and I have it set at 40.
Okay. Wait. What you say about 25?
No, I think the game like defaults you at about 20, 25 or something, which is really.
What I'm saying is that you might want to start if it's taking you, because I've watched you do some turns once in a while here, and it's taking you a while to turn. On Reinhardt specifically, you might want to up his sensitivity, as Reinhardt likes to turn very fast. Reinhardt doesn't have to, besides his fire strike, he doesn't really have mechanics, right? He doesn't have mechanics. And therefore you want to be able to make fast turns, because you can therefore shield things better, right? You can do a quick like flick around and shield a shatter, or you can shatter by turning around, or you can swing easier on people. So having a higher sensitivity on Reinhardt might be better off for you. And then yes, I haven't really noticed us doing the swinging technique where we're going back and forth, right? So we just want to make sure that while we're swinging, we're doing that. When you're talking about the swing technique, did you hear me describe that kind of in a YouTube video then? Or no?
I don't think it was specifically one of your
Yeah.
one. Just like watching a Reinhardt tips video, they say that
Yeah.
you can hit more targets if you turn the.
Yep.
I
So
just never really employed it.
yeah, on top of that, just to make it easy for you, a really easy way that you can do this. So just swinging normally. Now let's swing. That's just staring straight at something. Now like just swing across both of them. Right. Now we're hitting two people at the same time. Now a really easy way to do this is just go with the swing of the hammer. So when hammer goes left, we go left. Okay. When hammer goes right, we go right. So left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, and that's just a really easy way to do it. And it just means that you can hit multiple people at the same time instead of just one person. Whereas a lot of times we're just kind of hitting the person that's directly ahead of us. This can also allow us to hit people when they're just in complete opposite directions from each other, right? And just like do something like this, where we're just like we're hitting them even though they're on the complete opposite sides of me, right? We're doing a 180, and we're just hitting both of them at the exact same time, right? So that's just things to keep in mind there. And then that is pretty much it. So let's go over the main points, and then we'll get into the rest of the stuff after that. So main points of the session. Number 1, going to be awareness, right? Awareness, tons of stuff in there. Main big one, the reason why this is number 1 is because of the awareness of kill feed and when fights are won or lost, and we made a ton of mistakes just because we weren't paying attention. So pay attention to when you're winning or losing fights. We've talked about all of that jazz before, right? So pay attention to when you're winning or losing, because we've made multiple mistakes of walking in when we've pretty much already lost fights. Don't walk into fights when you're down people. So before you're about to walk in, a really good way to do this, right? You have 2 different ways you can do this, right? Is before you're about to walk in, right? We're about to go around the corner here. Just check, look around you. Go, do we have teammates here with me? We do. Okay, we can go. Okay, do we have teammates with me? No, we don't. Okay, we wait for them. The other thing you can do is you can also look behind you while shielding. Are you familiar with how to do this?
Yeah, you hold down both.
Yep. So just look behind you while you do this. That way you're able to just see what your team's up to, right? And then that's going to give you more awareness as well. Pay attention to it. You have teammates even there with there in the fight. There are multiple fights where we went into it on top, and then also there's been fights where we just had a significant advantage, like we just used 3 ultimates and then we used our ult again, or we are the only person alive and we use shatter, right? So pay attention to that. Pay attention on top of that to your health and your shield. Just pay attention to when we can get aggressive off of it. Paying attention to where is the enemy team at, right? So we can see the McCree up on the high ground and hear him as well. Listen to audio cues. And then on top of that, pay attention, so we can find the Baptiste earlier and maybe kill him so we can cap point, right? So there's a lot of stuff there. Now, moving on to number 2. Number 2 is probably going to be your ult usage. So shatter-wise, we only got really 1-man shatters, and then we also, of course, now know that you can go underneath cart, and then also travels up surfaces, so you can hit people on higher up than. It travels up and down surfaces, right? So this guy right here, you can shatter upstairs and stuff like that. I think this might be actually too high, so it won't travel up that, but it will travel up this probably. So you'll probably notice that we can probably do this and land the shatter on him, right? Because it travels up this to hit him, right? So know that you can do that to hit people. And then on top of that, when you're going, make sure we're not ulting in won fights, and lost fights, so don't ult when you're the last person alive, and also make sure we're not ulting, or we're not over ulting, so we've just used 3 other ults, don't ult, right? The exception to this would be if they just use 3 ults, right? If they just use 3 ults, then go ahead and use your ult too, because then you're kind of matching with them, right? It doesn't matter as much. Now, on top of that, when you do shatter, go in and swing. If they're too far away from you, then you can charge, or if it's just one person, you can charge, or at the very end of your ult, you can, or at the very end, like right before they're about to wake up, you can charge. So kind of a basic ult would look something like this, where we're going to shatter, we're going to swing on them like twice, and then we're going to charge at the very end of it, right? Just to get the last person, right? And then that's pretty much it there. So abilities. Inconsistent, missed half our charges, missed half our fire strikes. Just make sure we're looking to get those and like we're concentrating on actually landing them. Shield usage, just slightly inconsistent as well, right? Just a little bit of inconsistent between them. It's nothing that we're like majorly just fundamentally misunderstanding across them. Shield management, just make sure we're not sitting there hard shielding, which we did at the very beginning of the game. We didn't do that as much on the rest of the game, but we did this kind of at the very beginning for the first 2 minutes, where we just kind of sat around to make sure we're doing things and not just sitting there and shielding, and to make sure you know, we're angling our shield properly to catch as many people as possible, right? If there's that guy off to the side, make sure we're not doing this, but instead we're angling so we can get all of them, right? Whereas we kind of did that with like the Hanzo, where we were just like kind of staring at one person. Then finally comes in at positioning. Positioning, just make sure we're repositioning to the best place possible in between every single fight. A lot of times that's going to be high ground, especially like if they have easy access to high ground, you want to go and deny them that access to high ground. And then that was pretty much it with positioning. So any questions about anything that we've gone over here? Or if you do, just, you know, that also can just be, if you have longer ones as well, we can just go over those as we're going through the next part in the playtime.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it was useful. I know that obviously there's just things where I just need to be more consistently landing stuff. But yeah, no, that's very useful.
All right. Well,
I'm glad my positioning's improved. Let's put it that way, because you know, I feel like really when I first started coaching with you, I knew absolutely dick about positioning in in this game. So.
All right. So then would you like me to continue the recording for the second half of the session, or like for the playtime, or do you care about that? It's probably not gonna be as much content. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm good.
Okay, let me just end it there then.